My computer's slow. Hey, hi everybody. Welcome back again. No intro music. Da na 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 na. Da na 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 na. Dun 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 dun. I just realized I could have did it from my phone, maybe. Anyway, that was long enough. How is everybody tonight? We are back, and we are here to talk about something very, very powerful tonight, which is credit. So I am Melissa King. I am, as y'all can see, my little moniker down there. When I'm on TikTok, I go by the name I Will Be Done. It kicked me out. Not even do nothing. Anyway, let me pull my other screen back up, but y'all can still see me over here. I go by the moniker the Credit Tamer, cause just like people tame lions and all that stuff, I be like taming the credit. Get it straight. So we are here to talk about that tonight. Let me introduce my lovely co-host directly below me here. Candy, you want to say hello to the people?
Yes, hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. I am Pandy of the Making Money Moves with Pandy channel, and I am happy to be here tonight with Melissa and Tony.
Yay! All right, now over here to my is that my left or my right? Over here on the side of me, I did it right. On the side of me, I always have to remember it's the opposite. I have financial guru and financial expert Tony Clopton. Introduce yourself, Tony.
Hello, everyone. Hey, I am Tony Clopton of the Tony Clopton Show on YouTube and on my Facebook page. You can find me on all social media platforms under my name. I'm glad to be here.
Yay! Okay, and I see we got V's Interior Designs and Lifestyle. Hey, V. Thanks for joining us and hanging out today. We are so glad to see you. What is my computer doing now? Hold on, y'all. Your browser can't access your device. Okay. Well, at least I'm still here. So, that's something. But, okay. So, I was going to play you guys a quick video. You didn't happen to be able to get that one to do it, did you? Candy? Because I lost it again.
Yes, I'll add it now.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
See, this is what happens when you have a good network, because my raggedy stuff be acting up. It's always nice to have a backup person who got some good equipment. So yeah, we doing it.
It's back
Here
there.
we go. Here we go. So yeah, today we're talking credit. So just to get us started with a quick introduction, I have a brief video for you guys. Not very long. So check it out.
Welcome to the MyCredit System. The MyCredit System is an educational training platform that empowers individuals to repair, build, and maintain great credit. In our current system, we offer detailed do-it-yourself credit repair education. Inside, you will find 25 minutes of credit repair training. You will learn what factors affect your credit score and how you can enhance your credit by utilizing score-building techniques. In addition, we provide you with our automated dispute letter writer, which helps write your dispute letters with the click of a few buttons. Review this comprehensive system and start increasing your credit scores today.
All right. Did it go away? Okay. Got it this time. All right, so that was short and sweet, just a little intro of our do-it-yourself My Credit System, which we sell as a standalone and as and if you decide to become a MyEcon home-based business owner like the three of us are, this is included with your income shifting membership. So something that people go out and pay $500, $600, $700 to get somebody else to do for them can be yours for free if you become a MyEcon associate or you can buy it as a standalone. And I got to follow up on that price. I meant to look and see what that was, but I will before we get out here. So tonight, thanks to Pandy again, I have a slideshow that I will be able to share with you guys. Let me see. Okay, so I want to make it so. Trying to see if I can still get us up there without it bunching up. Okay, so let's talk about credit. Credit is, as I like to put it, like your financial report card. So whenever you're getting ready to buy something that costs more than you can pay down at one time, like it could be anything from jewelry, like if you're getting engaged, to a home or a car or whatever, you will have to apply for credit in order to get said item. So they're going to look at your credit score, which is a composite of 5 different things, to decide whether you are worth the risk, number one, of even approving you, period. Because sometimes they'll take a look at your credit and just say, no, we can't even negotiate that. And then you have other cases where, depending on where your number falls, and we're going to look at that in a second, depending on where your number falls, you can you'll still be able to get the item. And as backwards as it sounds, the lower your score is, the higher the interest rate they're going to charge you. The interest rate is the amount they're charging you to take this item home on credit. Hey, Robert, good to see you. Come on in. So like if you are buying an item, let's say it costs $500, they give you an interest rate. I don't even know a good one to put on it, but let's just say your interest rate comes out to an additional 100 of that 500. So let me see. I reached out to you on Instagram. Oh, okay. All right. I will put my information, actually is on my about page, but I will reach out to you on Instagram. All right. So let's say you're buying something for $500. Because of your credit history, they're putting an interest of $100 on it. So that means your total cost for buying that item is $600. Okay, let's say somebody comes in with a credit score that's lower than yours. Well, they might actually have to pay an additional $200 because they do not have good credit history. And to me, that's so backwards, because if y'all know my credit history is not good, and you giving me this higher interest rate, it's more of a probability that I'm not gonna pay you either. So, but it's almost like a reward system, but at the same time, to me, it's also like a system to exclude people as well, because everybody's credit situation is different, and not everybody's credit is the way it is because they've mismanaged money. Circumstances of life happen. So let's look at credit scores. As far as credit scores go, what is a good score? So the best credit score ranges from 800 to 850. I should have started from the bottom first. I'm sorry. So a bad credit score is from 300 to 599. You can go from bad to poor when you hit 600 to 649. Fair is 650 to 699. Good is considered anything from 700 to 749. Excellent, 750 to 799. And the best is 800 to 850. So depending on, a lot of us probably may have not, a lot of people never checked their own credit score. Because I know I was of age, I was old enough that I should have been checked it before I actually checked mine. Well, actually, I didn't even check mine. Somebody checked it for me when I was trying to buy a car. And it was the dealership, and they said no. So, I found out that day that my credit score was a 591. And I'm like, I don't know what the range is. I didn't know these numbers and where I would fall. So they said 591. I'm like, what? Out of 600? I'm good. And they're like, no, out of 850. So I was like, oh. So at that point, I still didn't get smart enough to go home and figure out how to get a copy of my credit report. And what we're going to talk about today are the 5 things that people need to look out for when they're working on their credit. So I'm gonna ask Tony and Patty, before you guys got started, before you learned better, what did you think were how they calculated up your credit score? What did you think it was based on? Because I know me personally, I thought it was just me paying everything on time. You thought that too, Tony?
Okay, so for me, I ain't gonna lie. I had no clue of how they calculated your credit score. I've always been taught to pay your bills on time, and that's what I tried to do. I never knew that if I went over the limit, till I learned later on down the road, which I know you'll cover. But I was just trying to make sure I paid what was asked of me during the monthly payment. So that's how I kind of sort of maintain a decent credit score thus far up to this point, but I've gotten better learning from this program.
And what about you, Penny? What was your thoughts on how they figured where you fall?
Okay, so as a young adult, unfortunately, it was never a conversation that took place in our household to say, hey, let me talk to you about your credit, right?
Yeah.
So I remember being 18 in Seattle, and the Bon Marché, which is now Macy's, sent me a dang on credit card. And it was like $100 or $300. It was something. And I'm young and fast thinking I'm all that. So I go and max the thing out like one day. I'm not realizing I'm going to ever have to pay it back. I'm just like, I got a credit card. So I learned early on, once I hit my 20s, and I went to go try to get my first apartment, and they came talking to me about this credit card that I never paid. And I was like, what? So I ended up having to pay it. And that was like my first real lesson in, okay, still didn't quite understand how it was calculated, but I learned really quickly that you have to be responsible with it. You have to pay this money back. And then I also learned a little bit more about, just the minimum payments, doing a little bit more. But like Tony said, I'm sure we'll get into that tonight because I've learned a lot more even with this company.
Okay. So, I just want to make sure it wasn't just me because honestly, go ahead, Tom.
You know what? I got to ask. This is a good question to ask somebody. Like what were some of the things that basically got everybody's credit jacked up? And I can tell you right now, I remember my first cell phone bill, and I'm almost certain that I got 2 or 3 other people a cell phone in my name. And man, I'm telling you, those cell phones and those medical bills when you're young, they'll come back and bite you.
Yes, Lord, because I'm gonna tell you, I had a I don't know if it was Nextel or some kind of tail that they were selling, and I bought one too, and ran it up to like $700-800. Didn't have the money to pay it, and just kind of just dropped it. I also had, when I first went to college, and they're good about going after college students because they know you got parents supporting you, or you got that student loan money and stuff. So when I went to college, I was just out in the park, and they were having like a little something, whatever. And they had all of these tables set up with nothing but card applications. You just pick what you wanted, from Sears to Discover to whatever. And they made it seem like, just pick a card, any card and whatever. But nobody ever explained how important it was to pay it on time. So that was something else that jacked me up too, because I had a Sears card that had like an $800 limit. By the time I bought a stereo and got my car fixed a couple of times, I had maxed it out. And I was working at Taco Bell making $4.35 an hour and getting 20 hours a week. So, enough said. Okay, so now that we've talked about that, let's look at the whole score. So, like I was saying before, I always thought the only thing that you had to do to have a good credit score was to pay your stuff on time. Because like Tony was saying, my parents, they don't know this. I don't know if they know this right now. But my dad did tell me, pay your stuff on time. That was the big big thing. So that's what all I thought it took. But actually, your whole credit score is comprised of 5 factors. Payment history, which is worth 35 points. So that would be whether or not you're, paying it on time. Next is credit utilization. So how much credit you have. And that is, let's look at the thing. That is credit union. 30%. And so that's a total of 165 points. So you gotta look at, you start off with I think the base is 300. And then based on how you do in these 5 areas, the points are gonna be added. So we've looked at payment history, credit utilization, which is how much credit you have. No, payment history, credit utilization. Now we're looking at credit history. Credit history is 10%. So that's a total of 82.5 points that you can get from having a good credit history. New credit, let's see. New credit, length of credit history. I think I done got them 2 mixed up. Length of credit history versus new credit. Okay, new credit is 10%. Length of credit history is 15%. So the that one would be 82.5, and then the new credit is 55 max points. So what they're doing, they're just breaking it up into percentages and telling you how many points you can earn on each. The last one is credit mix because you can have 2 different types of credit, so they look at that as well. So I'm going to just kind of quickly, because I don't want to keep you guys on here long, go through each one and just give you some talking points. Okay, so payment history. And I'm going to have to make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to take us off. Okay. Payment history. That for payment history, we have our solution to help you with that. We have 4 letters: a debt validation letter, a method of verification letter, violation of FCRA rights letter, and intent to litigate letter. These are there are a few other letters that can be used depending on the situation. So usually when you pay someone to fix your credit, this is the portion of it that they can actually fix. But keep in mind, even though this is a big portion, this is the only part of it that they can actually fix for you. Everything else, you would personally have to do it yourself. So a lot of times when people are charging you all that money and everything, they're only working on this particular part because that's the only part that anybody other than you can really control, Okay, so the next thing is credit utilization. The solution is, I can't read that. Down, solution is down revolving debt. Okay, so debt elimination is a solution. You can increase your credit limit, which is something that I do sometimes. Not because I want to buy more things, but because when you add more credit on, it gives you a higher, or actually a lower credit utilization. So for example, if your total amount of credit that you have is $1,000, and out of that 1,000, you are utilizing, meaning you have a balance of 700, then you only have 300 that's available for you to utilize. So that you want that number of how much credit you have to use versus how much you're using to be smaller. So to do that, one solution is to pay that debt down. Another solution, if you increase your credit limit. So let's say it is, you do have a $700 balance on a $1,000 limit card. If you can get that balance raised to $2,000, $700 utilized versus the total of $2,000 will put you in a better place as far as how much of your credit you're utilizing. But one thing about it, the only way to increase that credit limit is by having good credit history. So it's sort of like a reward that comes with it. And then new credit is another way that you can improve your credit utilization. All right, so the next portion comes from credit history. Okay, so a solution for people who may have a problem with credit history, meaning your credit history not exactly where you need it to be, and you got a purchase that you're looking to make coming up soon, like, sometimes people will be getting ready to buy a car and they know they're going to need one in like, 3 months from now. Their score might be right there tweaking on between fair and good, and they want to get an extra boost. Well, one solution is to be added as an authorized user. So it says find a relative or a friend with a credit card with good history, ask to be added to their account as an authorized user. Card owners do not have to give you a card. You will inherit their payment. So in other words, I have my daughter as an authorized user on a couple of credit cards simply because one of the other issues, and I think we'll talk about this in a minute as well, is that a lot of people don't have bad credit, but they don't have enough. So when you get ready to get started, and you try to go and get something, they're telling you, well, you don't have enough credit. Your credit isn't established. So my daughter has been an authorized user on my card since she was like 11. So as I pay my bills on time and keep good credit, it's creating a history of good credit for her as well. Now, it's a catch-22 because just like that can help, if you are added on as an authorized user with someone whose credit becomes bad, and we know anything can happen, accidents, having to be off work, whatever, not necessarily just not being responsible, that can affect your credit because you can't pay your bills. So at the same time, you don't want to stay as an authorized user with someone whose credit is about to tank, because yours is going to tank right along with it. So that's another solution. And also for the person with the credit card, one of the things that they're doing now, people are actually selling their credit lines. So let's say somebody does want to come and be added as an authorized user, you can charge them a certain amount for letting them stay on your account for, like, say 3 months. You set the price. If they're willing to pay it, you've made another stream of income, and you've also helped improve their credit. Okay, so the next one is new credit. And then, okay, so solution for people who are having issues with new credit. Adding trade lines. Okay, so department store credit cards. I mentioned the Sears cards that I had. Secured credit cards, and those are usually the ones like I've had those too. I had all kind of credit issues. So at one point when I was trying to build, but I still didn't know how to do it properly. So I'm thinking, okay, they were offering all of these cards where you can, let's say it's a $300 limit, but when you first get the card, you already owe $250. So you got to kind of pay that down in order to get to a point where, you actually have room on that card to use it. But, it's a way to get your foot in the door if you're in a position where you can do that. So with those, usually the limit isn't extremely high, but like I said, it's a start, for somebody who has really bad history and they're just trying to get back on. Rental history. It used to be they didn't count rental history and utilities and stuff like that as on your credit, but recently they started adding those as like credit boosters. So you can go in, if you're somebody that pays your rent on time every month. I think I've used my cell phone bill, even what else did I use? I think a utility bill, like a power bill. You can add those on as credit boosters, and they can bring your score up. Especially if you always pay on time. A lot of us have those directly withdrawn out of our account, so we don't even actually go in and physically pay it. It just comes out. Credit builder loans. Those would be like credit builder loans help you build your credit and emergency fund simultaneously. Hey, Mickey Nivens, thanks for coming in. We're talking credit. Okay, so the credit builder loans, I've done those too, because it's very important to have, and I think that's gonna be the next thing we talk about, to have revolving credit as well as installment credit. So if you're at a point where you don't have the installment credit, like right now, I'm currently at that point right now because my car is paid off. I don't have a mortgage. So I'm only having the revolving credit right now, but they want you to have a mix of both revolving and installment. So a good way to get an installment credit is, in the past, I've gone to the bank and gotten like a loan for like say $5,000 and paid that off over a period of time. And like I used the money. I mean, I didn't use the money to do anything. I just basically let them go in and take that money back out to pay it off. So it's not really doing anything, me spending anything, but it makes my credit look better because it's new credit and it's installment credit. So that's the fourth one. Let's see, what's the next one? Okay, the last one is what I was just talking about, and that's your credit mixture. Solution for people who are having issues with that is applying for credit. You can have revolving debt and you can have installment debt. Revolving debt, like I was saying, is like credit cards, store credit cards, Discover, Visa, cards like those. And those are revolving because you can actually pay those off every month. And so your amount of credit is not going to be the same all the time. It might be more this month, less next month, you know. And installment debt is going to be more like your car notes, your mortgage, things like that. So with those, at some point, the goal is to pay those completely off. So once you complete the first 4 scoring factors, you will have credit mixture. 3 active revolving and 1 installment is ideal. So let's say you got a Visa card, you got a MasterCard, maybe a store card for one of the department stores, and you've got a car note. They're saying that those 3 revolving plus 1 installment is an ideal mixture. So we've gone over like all 5 of the I think that was the last one. Yeah, that was the last thing. So all 5 of those things together is sort of like I was saying in the beginning, it's a financial report card. So if you're starting off with a base of 300 points just for writing your name on the application, and then they're going to go look at these 5 individual areas based on what percentage they count. And if you're doing well in all of them, great. You're going to have a great score. You'll be between 800 and 850. If you're tanking or not doing good at any of them, of course, you're going to be down there in those lower scores. And then everything else falls somewhere in between. So I always like to say, it's not, we always say credit, fix your credit, improve your credit. Sometimes you just want to, not everybody's credit is bad. They just may be right there at 700 and they really want to get over to 8. So they're trying to maximize their credit. So this app or this program is good for you whether your credit is bad or if it's just mediocre and you're trying to reach a goal. So it's going to walk you through. So what it offers is do-it-yourself videos, automated dispute letter writer, reestablished credit sources, and it's a one-time payment. And I'm thinking this is the current price, $99.95 for 12-month access. So if you do not want to become a MyEcon business associate, and all you want to do is just buy this product, you can do that. So that would be $99.95. You'll have access to it for 12 months. It's got all of the letter writing templates you need, just everything. If you go in and start doing everything from beginning to end, and it's got plenty of tutorial videos and everything, then there's no reason why the 12-month period shouldn't be enough to get you where you are trying to be. So let's see what's next. Earning potential. Oh, that's so tight. Let me try to read that. Okay. This is basically talking about if it says enroll as an EVP and earn income selling the MyCredit system. So basically, like Tony, Pandy, and I are all associates. So we can sell this product as a standalone and make money off of it. So it says build a marketing team and earn override commissions and residual commissions. So earn $49 on personal MyCredit system sales and up to $10.50 on team sales. So like every time you sell someone this kit for $99.95, that's $49 that is going in your pocket. And then it says earn up to $76 on personal membership sales, up to $10 on team sales, and up to $15 monthly residual income per active membership. So that's basically giving you the difference between the standalone, selling as a standalone versus when you join the team, of course, Well, you can buy it as a standalone, and then if you join the team, you can not only use it, but you can also sell it and create another stream of income. Okay, and that was the last video. So, now that we've done that and knocked that out of the way, let me hear from my other two partners on here. Does anybody have a story, and it could be a good one or a bad one, that you want to share? Tony, come on, fella.
Hey, I'm so excited, and this is a praise report for me. But last night, I was able to go into Navy Federal, and someone recommended to do it at night. So I applied for a platinum Navy Federal card, and I was granted $25,000.
Look at you.
So,
That is wonderful.
so with that being said, is that I only did it to see if I could, and I
Yeah.
could, and I knew I could. But anyway, I'm using other people's money. If you don't understand how to get good credit, now is the time to learn how to do it yourself, so you can start applying for those high limit credit cards that are available to people that they know going to do okay with it. So, hey,
Right.
I'm just excited about that. It worked out, and said, hey, you've been approved. And I screenshotted it. So that's for a later date. But hey, I just had to share it with some of y'all, man. I appreciate you.
If you want to share it, you can share it, because that's
Yeah,
good news.
yeah.
Because you
That's
know
all
what?
right.
The 20, just think about you like you said, you were just doing it just to see if you could get approved. At the same time, when you did get approved, we were talking about your debt to credit ratio. So now, let's say before you had 50,000, now you got $75,000 worth of credit, which puts you high and gives you a very low debt to credit ratio. So it's like a win-win.
It
And
is.
I will say this before I ask Pandy for her story. It's hard to, well, I'm gonna say hard. It takes a lot of work to get to that ideal credit score that you're trying to get to. But it does not stop there, because just like it's hard to get there, it's just as hard to maintain it. And which is why knowing about these 5 things are still important. Because at my highest, a couple of what was my maybe it's going on 2 years ago. And that was when I still had revolving debt and installment debt. Like I said, right now I don't have any installment debt because everything's paid off. So, and I thought that was gonna be a good thing. I'm like, when I paid my car off 2 years early, I'm like, oh, I know I'm finna have good credit now. But what I didn't think about is that was the only installment debt I had. So now I didn't have any, which took me back some points. So I was at 837, and then I ended up going back to 810. And I'm looking like, still with that same mindset. I paid everything on time. Why did it go back? But then I had to think about it. It's not just about paying stuff on time. It's about having a good credit mixture as well. And even though that percentage was smaller, it's enough to keep me out of the perfect score. So, Pandy, what you got any stories for us? It can be good or bad.
Hey, okay, so I am trying to learn from you two, okay? I am still in the growing stages. I'm literally still working the modules in the back, still doing the dispute letters and utilizing the tools that are provided in the My Credit system. However,
Well, you're the best one to talk about it. You actually go through. So share.
I love the fact that one of the key components for the whole draw for me, why I even joined this company, was because like I said, I started at a young age messing up my credit. And so I have been chasing my tail trying to figure out how to get it right. And some time ago, I want to say back in 2009, I paid a company to go on and do my credit repair so that I could get approved for my first home loan. And that was all fine and dandy and everything. But because I was so unknowledgeable, I ended up getting in the home, but I had a crazy adjustable rate mortgage after the first 2 years with a super high interest rate. I mean, I just had all kind of stuff. going bad. So long story short, I had some student loans that I was finally able to get resolved and forgiven. I had a couple of things, medical bills and stuff like that, that had went into collections. And each time I went through, okay, the first time when I went to go buy buy my house, the company was able to, like, I don't know what they did. That's part of the problem right there. You don't know what they did, right? All I know is they got my score bumped up and I was able to close on this home. But then it was like after a couple of years, I was in there, this interest rate began to start to adjust. I was trying to figure out how I could short sale out of it before that started because I didn't know what to do. And no one had actually educated me on this process. So that was a huge learning lesson in itself. But long story short, time has gone on and I've learned you have to be more responsible. And I really saw the value when I first saw this credit presentation being presented, because I was like, you know what? It makes so much sense to actually touch it yourself and do it yourself, because then you know what is being done. You know what to say when these creditors are actually calling you. You know what letters you need to write. I had been trying to get certain things removed from my credit report for years. Long story short, once I started utilizing the modules in the back of the My Credit system, I literally got several things removed, some charge-offs that had been sitting on my credit report dormant for over 7 years, completely removed, which shot my score up. Now, I'm not up there with Tony and Melissa yet, but I'm inching my way up, and I feel so good about that because I know I'm going in the right direction. And I know that I am a true walking testimony of the fact that this system is real and it does work, because baby needed help. And I'm getting there. Okay.
So, I'm so proud of you, Patty. You were our first new partner from YouTube, because before you, we hadn't had any associate joins from YouTube. And then Tony and I were on Brianna Simone Pettifield's show. And it was Cinco de Mayo. We went on there and we talked about credit, and then you reached out, and we were so glad to actually have somebody who can say, yep, I did it. I saw the results. This is what happened. So, I got so many bad credit stories. It don't make no sense. So I can sit here all day and tell y'all about bad credit stories. But the one that really snowballed was, I tease everybody. I used to tease my dad because he used to drive a Lexus, and I would be like, let me drive your car. He like, no. I'm like, man, I ain't got to drive your little stinking Lexus. I got a $50,000 car out there. And it was a $50,000 car as far as like what I paid for it, but $50,000 is not what it costs. But by the time, I didn't realize, first of all, I couldn't even get in my name. And then when I got somebody to, go in and sign with me, I didn't know anything about, like you were talking about, the adjustable. I don't know if that's what I had to this day. I don't know. I just went by what them people told me. But all I knew is I thought I was going to make my last payment. And I called them people and got them on the phone. And I was like, and they were like, well, ma'am, you owe us 13 more payments. And I'm like, how? Because, I had finance for, I don't know if it was 5 years or 6 years, but it was time for it to be paid off. Now, keep in mind, I done been late, all this other stuff. I don't know what kind of plan we signed up for, but they told me that every time I was late, it added another payment on or something like that. I broke down and went to crying right there on the phone with that person, because I was like, 13 more payments. And keep in mind, I'm already paying way too much because of the, like I said, the more rich you are, the higher they charge. So I'm riding around here and it was a 1997 GMC Jimmy. And I got it in 1999, so it was 2 years old. I was paying $564 a month back in the 90s for this truck. And when I tell you I drove till the wheels fell off, I went to 300,000 miles. That's how long I drove that darn truck. But it was like, and so as far as the snowball goes, okay, they added on these extra, I was already paying way too much for it. They added on these extra payments. Then when I got into a home, what did I do? I went to a payday loan place. So that's where the rest of that 50,000 came in, because I went back and calculated based on the cost, based on the late fees, and based on what I spent for 2 years on payday loans from 3 different places. So I'm steady, instead of snowballing in a good way, I'm snowballing and getting my debt out of control. Because every Friday when I got paid, they won't even wait until you get off work. They like, you're gonna have to come pay us during lunch because we close at a certain time. So, I'm trying to leave at lunchtime and run over and pay them back and stuff. It was a traumatic experience. And I'm gonna say this also. Don't be now. I went through a phase where I was embarrassed, and I'm telling this story now, but I would be walking through. You know how you going to the airport and they like, come sign up for this card with you. Y'all ain't gonna embarrass me. No, 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 no. Especially the ones where they tell you right then and there, because they're you thinking, okay, I might get approved. Then they say, well, they're gonna be sending you something in the mail. I'm like, yeah, I ain't get approved. Because if I was approved, y'all are going and start letting me charge something today. I know what that means. So don't be sending me. And then back then I didn't even know that them running your credit was a bad thing. I didn't find that out till later. So I'm out here filling out applications for stuff, knowing I'm probably gonna get turned down. But for me, it was very embarrassing, because especially since I was working and making good money. But to me, it just made me look like I was, and it's partially true, I was irresponsible. But there are other people who may not have been irresponsible. They could have been in an accident where they couldn't work. Everybody's got their situation. So I'm saying that to say, don't be so embarrassed that you are embarrassed to try to get help or ask for help or ask how to fix it, because your pride will leave you in a spot where you're not saying nothing, and in 6 months you could be 100 points up from where you are today. So don't ever let pride and embarrassment be a reason to keep you from improving. Because look, I try to tell stories where I don't come out looking bad, but if it's something that I think can help somebody else, I share. All right. Go ahead, Penny.
Oh no, I was just gonna piggyback off of what you said. I totally agree with that, because I'm one too that I will admit part of my problem was I was irresponsible, but then part of that was I was just simply ignorant to how credit worked. And so I had no clue. I was literally just bum funneling through life and not realizing the negative impact that it would have on me later, which is why when I had children, I sat them down when they were in like 5th, 6th grade and just start talking to them about it. And now I know there's been times where I've talked to my oldest son. He's got 2 kids himself now. He's married, and he's just like, Mom, I'm so glad you talked to us about this, this, and this. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm so glad too, because if y'all had to go through what I went through, these kids ain't made for it tough like we were. I don't think they would bounce back. The second part of that is, once you get over the embarrassment and you educate yourself and you find out about systems like this that are super affordable, fully technology driven, easily accessible, right there at your fingertips, you might have messed up your credit, or like you said, you may not have messed up your credit. Maybe you just need to improve it or stabilize it, or whatever you need to do, build upon. It's right there. It's easily accessible to you, and you can always improve it. You don't have to stay there and just stay down and never move forward. That's what I love about it, because I'm a living witness. I'm climbing up, and I keep getting those. I'm doing the credit builder thing. I'm just seeing those charge-offs off my credit report. That was it for me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, my thing was, when I was like 30, I got a job where I had to travel, and part of the job was you had to stay in a hotel during the week, and I just had to go and break down and tell them, look, I got one of those fix your credit cards, and my limit is $300, and ain't no hotel in the world for let me stay for 5 nights for $300. So I'm like, So, and it was embarrassing for me to have to tell them that. But, they were like, well, we'll go ahead and prepay for your room. But I just had to tell the truth. Like, I would love to do this job, but I don't have the credit to be able to afford me to be on the road like that. So, thankfully, not every place will just cut you off because of it. But credit affects so much, and it excludes people from things. These days, they're looking at your credit when you fill out for job application. And my thing with that was, I may have messed up some credit, but I'm always at work. I'm not a bad employee. I worked really well. So to exclude me from being a candidate just because of my credit, to me, I'm like, that's discrimination. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I can see if I had a bad work history, but credit, and there's a couple of other things that they've been using credit for that I was like, but that don't have nothing to do with nothing. But it's a good way. If you're looking to exclude, it's a good way to do it. Tony, you got anything else?
In my closing remarks, I want to say that, if you're ever going to really look at joining a business like ours, is one of the bullet points was that we are debt free. The company is debt free. That means they don't owe anybody. So that means that the checks are going to come regularly on time. They've never missed a check on Fridays that I've been in. And I'm going to tell you, if the world is in debt now, they owe in every other country. They can't help you. The government and the government system cannot help you get out of debt. You're going to have to take it upon yourself, be responsible, and learn from strategies that we're sharing with the membership that we're sharing. This is the way to go, y'all. Nobody's going to come save you. You got to save yourself.
Mm-hmm. Very true. 100% agree. So I hope this conversation was helpful to somebody out there. If you I saw where V said she was going to reach out. If you have any questions about the product, reach out to myself, Tony, or Pandy, or Gio. Because she's also an associate. She's just not here this week on our discussion. But go ahead and reach out and ask, because there's no shame in trying to improve yourself. If somebody come tell me that credit is 300, I'm gonna be like, well, at least we know where we starting at. Can't go nowhere but up. That's the baseline score. So, and like Tony said, our company, that's one of the things they pride themselves on. They're always in the black. Everything, there's no debt with our company. And the fact that they sat down and devised this whole group of modules so that we can, because something I was saying yesterday, I feel like when those credit card companies do it, yeah, they can fix it, and like Pandy said, they helped her, so she was at the point where she could close on her house. But if you didn't go through and learn anything, and then why would they tell you when you could potentially be a repeat business? Because think about it, they know you fixed it last time, even though they didn't tell you what you need to do to maintain it. You will probably go back to them because they're capable of doing it. Then you got to give them free advertisement because you're saying, well, I went to so-and-so and they fixed my credit. But at the same time, based on what we talked about, they only fixed one part. They did the letters and stuff because they can't apply for you to get credit to increase your, like Tony did with the $25,000 car. They can't do that for you. And so that's one portion of it. They can't do installment debt, or they can't help you buy a house or buy a car. So all they can do is advise you about that. That part you're going to have to do yourself. The history part, they can't do anything about that because it's history. It's already done. They can take the stuff off, but as far as how long you've had credit and everything, that can be altered. That's a fact. You done had credit for 20 years, you done had it for 20 years. So it's like, don't get so caught up into having somebody else to do it for you. And I'm not saying I don't do everything for myself, because like right now I'm trying to figure out with these taxes, I didn't wait until the last minute. And I'm like, I don't know. I sat down last night and I was like, well, maybe I can. And I sat there for about 20 minutes. I was like, we're going to have to get an extension because I can't do this. So I understand not everybody is going to want to do everything for themselves, but with credit, because the lesson that you're getting out of it is going to be so important for the future. That's one of the things, if I was going to do it myself, which I did, that's what I would do. So, Candy, got any closing words for us? Tony gave us his 2 cents.
Well, for my closing remarks, I am just grateful for the program. The letters, the dispute letters are very helpful, very powerful. And just the modules, they're so, self-paced that anyone can do them. They walk you through step by step. You have them at your convenience. So if you need to pause it, rewind it, go back to it, it's right there for you. So I'm grateful for it. And then also, there was one other thing I was going to say, but I think I forgot. It'll come back to me. I'm just grateful to have this at my fingertips because, like I said, I have been able to see some improvements and I know it's going to go up from here. I'm doing the necessary work and it feels good. And then I'm also more mindful. That's what I was going to mention because they break down the whole mix, how your credit is calculated, it makes you more mindful. You don't just spend, without thinking. You're more responsible with how you are using your credit card. Like, wait a minute, do I really need to swipe my card to get lunch today? And then I'm going to be paying interest 5 years from now. You're more mindful. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the education because, you got to start somewhere. You got to crawl before you walk. So I'm excited. And I really recommend it to anyone needing to start. Just do it.
And V says, what's the link to the credit repair program? V, I am going to send that to you directly. I'm going to go on Instagram and send it to you. So,
I put your website in the chat too, Melissa.
Oh, yeah. You did put my website there. And if you go there and go to products, the My Credit Repair is one of the products. So before we get out of here, let me also remind you, like we said in the beginning, we are running a special promo right now. You can become a My Econ Business Associate for under $10. $9.95 will get you started. So this same system that you could pay $99 for, you can also get for free. It wouldn't be free. You would be paying $9.95 for it because you starting the business is going to get it as, part of the package. So that $9.95 that you're spending to get started comes with this complimentary system that you can use. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure how much longer the promo is going to be going on, but don't put it off for today. Don't put off today for tomorrow, what you can do today. If you got $9.95. And like I said, if you don't want to be part of the business, even at the $99.95, I know y'all spend more money than that on nothing. Stuff that won't benefit you at all. So instead of getting them, what we were talking about yesterday, instead of getting them new Jordans, get you a credit system. All right, and thank y'all for joining us. We will be back on Friday and for Financial Friday. And I can't remember exactly what we said we were going to focus on for that day, but come back. It's going to be something good. It's going to be something about money. It'll be something you can use. So regardless of what we're talking about, meet us back here on Friday, 6 Central, 7 Eastern, and we are going to finish up the week talking about finances. So y'all have a good night. Did I hear? Me and this phone, y'all.